The Honda Odyssey gets an update for 2025.
Minivans are getting expensive.
Whoa, spitting out.
Well, this is a unique product because it still has a mighty V6 under the hood. What size is it?
A 3.5 liter V6 with a 10-speed automatic transmission, 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. This is a front-wheel drive model and you can use regular fuel.
So this is a 2025. It's been updated. What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 7-inch driver display, a 9-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a 12.8-inch rear entertainment system, a 7-speaker audio system, cloth upholstery, heated front seats, power front seats with memory and lumbar support, a moonroof, and Honda sensing safety and driver assist technology. In the US, you do get some extra standard features, including a power tailgate, leatherette seats, and a wireless charger. The 12.8-inch rear entertainment system is available, but it's not standard.
We've got a push-button transmission, our absolute favorite. What else could we put it in?
Got to put it in, ask for a subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, and also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a question in, and also see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Andrea, we're so versatile on this channel. It was just 2 weeks ago we were in southern sunny Spain driving an AMG convertible. We do it all, and now we're in a minivan.
We do it all. Super versatile.
So how are you liking this one? I'm not saying in comparison, just how do you like it?
I think it's great. You know what? It's very nimble. It offers a ton of power. Steering is light. Maneuverability is excellent. I can turn this thing on a dime. Acceleration from a stoplight is good, and passing power on the highway, no problem.
We're going to get into that in just a moment. I did notice though, Andrea, I was outside the vehicle, you were driving, I was shooting. Now, of course, there's wet leaves on the ground, but a couple of times Andrea accelerated away and the front wheels spun, and this even has winter tires, which are softer on. So that's one thing. This doesn't come with all-wheel drive, just something to consider.
This has got the variable cylinder management on this, and also an acoustic glass windshield. Now, that's standard in the US. In Canada, it is available, and we have it on our test model. I do feel under hard acceleration, the cabin gets louder. I would prefer just a little less noise.
I think it's pretty good. We're going to test it in a moment here. All right, so this is an updated 2025 model. What are the updates?
Well, it gets some pretty good updates. A redesigned grille, new front and rear bumpers, LED headlamps, updated LED fog lamps, and new wheel designs. For the interior, there's some tweaks as well with more standard features, a 9-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 7-inch digital driver display. You also have more USB-C ports throughout the vehicle, a new rear seat entertainment system. It's a 12.8-inch screen, and the HDMI plug has been relocated to the inside of the center console. In the US, add the wireless charger to the list of standard features as well.
Okay, we're getting close to highway speeds, Andrea. I want you to mash it. Okay, kiddies, here we go. All the way to the floor, Mom.
That gets a little bit loud.
I like that sound, Andrea. That's the sound of a mighty trusty V6. Some people will like that. I like that.
A little quieter would be nicer.
Sounds good to me. Okay, kids, keep it down back there.
That's your cabin watch and your cabin talk. You don't have to shout.
No, it goes like this. If I have to pull this van over, you'll be sorry. If we have to turn this thing around, we've all lived that, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we've lived it.
All right, so the outside of this thing is a bit jelly beany. I mean, I appreciate the updates they made to the outside. I don't think it's the best looking van. I think that new Carnival from Kia looks more like an SUV. That's what they were going for. What do you think of the outside?
Yeah, this is not the prettiest girl at the dance. I keep looking at it. You know, it's one of those vehicles that you maybe look at and think, yeah, I kind of like it now. I just can't get excited. But on Instagram, for those who are interested in the Odyssey and for those who own an Odyssey, great feedback, and you really like this model a lot, even the design.
I have to give Honda credit because I criticized the new Carnival. It has that beefy look, especially at the front. They were not able to hide the rail for the sliding door down the side. Honda has been able to do that. Pacifica, I think the Sienna has it as well, where they hide it under the rear window.
Yeah.
It's one of those design things, Andrea, that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And when I look at vans, it's the first thing I look at.
That's interesting. I just don't see it. I don't care about it.
Because in this one, you don't see it. See, that's the trick.
I don't even care if it has the railing or not. It's still just
a minivan.
It's a minivan, and it's versatile, and it's practical, and it does all the things it's supposed to do. Now, this gets 5.8 inches of ground clearance and comes standard with LED headlamps, LED tail lamps, LED fog lamps, power side doors, body colored door handles, 18-inch wheels, available 19-inch, and a compact spare tire.
One thing I will point out, Andrea, with the doors open, the opening is actually quite narrow. I was noticing that getting in and out. We'll show you the back seats in just a moment. Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, Andrea married me. But you know what? The outside's one thing. When you get on the inside, this is where it all pays off with a minivan. Easy to get in and out of. Lots of space. Kids can climb in and out. Older people can get in and out. It's a great use of space.
And Honda nailed it with the layout of this van. Not only is it comfortable, but it's so practical. I mean, they really focused on the layout for families. You've got tons of storage at the center console, which is easy to access. Your wireless charger is here. There's even more storage at the front if you want to put a bag or snacks or a hat. And then you've got the door pockets at the bottom. You've also got a tray. There's 2 different levels. I mean, it's just so well done. I'm impressed.
You know what I love, Andrea? You know what I love about the interior of certain cars? What do I love? Buttons. And they loaded me up. It's a button-a-thon in this thing.
Yeah, there's tons of buttons, and I'm happy to see that they've gone with a 9-inch touchscreen, although compared to its competitors, if you are looking at screens, they do offer larger ones. But this is easy to use, and with all of the buttons, it's easy to access. It's just intuitive. Now, one thing that this doesn't have is a 360 camera, and I think that that's a real miss for Honda, especially at this price point and such a large vehicle. Now, of course, with the kids, a lot of times you want to know, does it come with sunshades? Yes, standard second row sunshades and available third row sunshades. This has a cloth interior as standard. In the US, you get leatherette, but of course there is available leather as well.
You want to spend more? You can get more stuff like navigation, ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, front and rear parking sensors, and an 11-speaker premium audio system. There is no availability of heated rear seats. And the reason why there's no heated rear seats, well, I'm going to show you. Here's me getting in the second row, easy to get in, and these are called magic seats. They can all be removed. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the middle seat. You kind of have to wrestle it out, but when you do, that's where the magic begins. The 2 outboard seats can slide back and forth. You want kids together, you can do that. You want to separate them, you can do that. How does it stack up?
Comparing the Odyssey to the Sienna, the Odyssey offers 40.9 inches of front row legroom, which is a little more than the Sienna. Second row legroom at 40.9 inches is an inch more than the Toyota.
As I mentioned, the door opening isn't that big, but the nice thing is to get to the third row, you basically just walk right in there. And when you're there, a lot of room, it's very comfortable. How does this stack up?
Third row legroom for the Odyssey is 38.1 inches, which falls short to the Sienna by about ½ an inch.
Power liftgate on this model. The great thing about minivans is where the third row typically store, that's a big bin. So when the seats are up, you have tons of room to put groceries and they won't slide around.
Cargo space behind the third row is up to 38.6 cubic feet. Space behind the second row up to 91 cubic feet. And overall cargo space up to 155.8 cubic feet. All areas are larger than the Toyota.
Welcome to some relaxing time with coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Oh, so relaxed, Andrea. This thing is so comfy.
So comfy.
Welcome to our coffee bar. Your questions from Instagram.
What do you think about the 2025 Odyssey in comparison to the new tech updates that the 2025 Sienna just received, like the infotainment system, cooler box, vacuum cleaner, recliners in second row, in the platinum trim?
Oh, by the way, Odyssey was the first one to have the vacuum. They had the vacuum. They don't have the vacuum now. Toyota's got the vacuum. What trim was this with the lounge chairs? The Platinum?
Platinum.
I want to know,
Platinum.
Andrea. I've got a question for you. Riddle me this. We already said these things are spendy. How much is that one?
Okay, first off, when we got your question and we took your question, I Googled the pricing of that Platinum model. And that Platinum model gets the reclining seats, the cooler box, the vacuum. You ready?
Let me guess.
Don't fall over.
Just wait a second. You're doing this in Canadian dollars?
Canadian includes freight, PDI, and fees.
Canuck bucks. 63 grand.
Over $73,000.
Holy crap.
Okay, first off,
wait a second.
I am not buying a minivan for over $73,000, Zach. I will buy my own portable vacuum, and I will buy my own cooler, and I will throw it in the back cargo area as I need it. Are you crazy?
You could get a Chevy Tahoe for that.
Oh my gosh.
With all the seats.
I can't even believe that.
I think even a Suburban.
And do you know that top
No, because
trim?
we just did the Suburban. Was the Suburban 73 grand, the base model?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It doesn't have a hybrid system, but hell, if you want space.
Okay, so that Platinum model is also a 7-passenger. Honda offers an 8-passenger on all trims. Now, I do think that the Sienna, also that's all-wheel drive. I do think the Sienna is priced really well on the lower trims. You can get a base model all-wheel drive for the same price in Canada that this Odyssey starts at.
Yeah,
and it's all-wheel drive, and it's hybrid.
Yeah, and that's the ace that Toyota has, is they have better technology. They've invested in that platform, and Honda just keeps carrying forward this one.
I honestly don't mind the look of it. The simplistic buttons for HVAC and radio, the magic seats are such a neat feature. I think it does everything it was designed to do very well, but the dollars for a van these days is crazy. I wonder if this or something like a Telluride would be better value for your money.
Andrea, I just looked it up. The Suburban Behemoth, 77 grand.
Yeah, and it comes with lots of standard features.
And the other thing is that has 4-wheel drive. Anyway, I just thought as a reference, you could drive a minivan or a Suburban. Anyway, what was the question again?
Okay, the question is Telluride or this van. It's just so expensive. Would it be better to get the Telluride?
Well, that's the problem.
Telluride's expensive too.
I mean, this is self-fulfilling. People question, like, why don't people buy minivans? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they're expensive. And when you start crunching the numbers, you're like, what the hell do I want to drive a minivan for? I can get all-wheel drive. I get better ground clearance. I can, what you don't get is the welcome to the coffee house feel, the lounge.
I think that's exactly it. You either want a minivan or you don't want a minivan. This is convenient. It's easy to get in and out of. Even if you're an older person, you just like to drive a larger vehicle, you can get in and out of this easily. Hey. Comfort level, versatility, practicality. I think if you want a minivan, you want a minivan.
Is this one of these in my future, Andrew? Getting in and out?
Two things I'd like to see improve: panoramic sunroof and caramel latte leather seats. I don't have a latte here, but I do have an Americano.
Yeah, well, Honda's not very progressive with their color choices on the inside. We just had the Carnival that had the dual panel, light color interior, really nice. Yeah, that's the problem. As I mentioned, they're not investing a lot of money into this because probably it'll go away. I don't think they're going to bring out a new one. Maybe an electric one, but that's my thought. Well,
and this model, this Black Edition, which you don't have in the US, but we have in Canada, has got the red accents. So you've got some perforated leather here with red stitching, red in the seats, but it's still black. And I agree with you, Honda could do a better job on all of their models offering more interior color options.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Honda seems behind in tech and fuel efficiency systems, such as a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. Any thoughts on why?
So you're absolutely right. Honda's behind the times. You've got Pacifica with a plug-in available. You've got Sienna, which is all-wheel drive and hybrid as standard equipment. And we just recently drove the Carnival from Kia with an available hybrid system, which was very good. In fact, I'm going to put the link right here. Watch that. It's only been out for a few weeks. So yeah, Honda's behind the times. What they do have, Andrea, is that wonderful sounding V6.
Yeah, definitely behind. It's nice to see them have some hybrid options. They've come to the table with the CR-V and also now with the new Civic. Terrific hybrid system. Obviously, we would like to see more. HR-V, Pilot, and even this minivan have a hybrid, but also an all-wheel drive option too. I think it would be a hit for Honda.
But if you think about what an EV offers, EVs have long wheelbases to make room for the battery. Long wheelbase in a minivan, you need to make room for all of those seats. This might be a perfect candidate for an EV because we're going to get to the price in a moment. When you're at this price point, maybe just make it an EV. It might be the future for Honda.
I think that hybrids are the way to go, in my opinion. So that's what I'd like to see for the Odyssey.
All right, so the price is kind of steep, but also the fuel economy. Let's get into that in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. Pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base model starts at just over $52,000, and the top black edition that we're driving is just over 62,000 Canadian. In the US, we're using MSRP. The base model starts at just under $42,000, and the top Elite is just under $51,000 US.
Here's the fuel economy for this wonderful sounding V6, 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers city, just 8.5 on the highway. That's 19 miles per gallon city. Pretty good though, 28 miles per gallon on the highway. The towing capacity is 3,500 pounds, and the warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. So you want a minivan? What else can you choose?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is a Kia Carnival with a 3.5 liter V6, 290 horsepower, and a starting price of $43,000.
The Grand Caravan, also called the Voyager in the United States, the 3.6 liter V6, 287 horsepower, and a starting price of $50,000.
The Chrysler Pacifica with a 3.6 liter V6, 287 horsepower, and a starting price of $55,000.
The Toyota Sienna with a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid system, 245 horsepower, and a starting price of $51,000.
So there are 4 minivans for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
I like the versatile layout that this Odyssey offers.
I love the wonderful sound of the V6 engine.
What I'd like to see is a height adjustment on the passenger side. I feel like I'm sitting up a little bit high.
I just can't get my head around what they're charging for minivans these days. These things are spendy. So there it is. It's the updated 2025 Honda Odyssey. What do you think of that?
If you like what you see, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.